Welcome everyone to the next short attention span webinar. Kelly, you're going to find this hard to believe, but people give objections when you ask for the order.
What?
Yeah, I'm serious.
That was my best Stephen, or my best, what's his name? Colbert. I was doing my best Colbert there, sorry.
Oh, that was Stephen Colbert just then? You were channeling Stephen Colbert.
I was trying.
And so there's a process then for overcoming that objection. And this webinar, we're going to talk about what that process is. In some of the other webinars, what we have talked about, and we will again talk about individual objections, but we wanted you to have a process to go through. And the first thing is go over the definition of an objection. So Kelly, what's the definition of an objection?
This really is a fantastic way to frame this so that everybody understands, what's really going on here is you can look at, or you should look at, an objection is a request for more information. Basically what that means is the customer just doesn't have all the information that they need in order to make a decision right now. So that's really the way you have to kind of set your mind when you approach this concept.
Excellent. Yeah, I got this out of Wikipedia a long time ago, and I love this. This really frames things, because then you hear, when a client says your price is too high, you hear the customer say, give me a reason to buy from you that goes beyond price.
Right.
So that's exactly that. That's give me more information. And part of it is almost ignoring the objection itself and hearing behind it, hearing the fear in the customer, the uncertainty, the who are you again, that's what this is all about. So let's talk about the process. First of all, there is the empathy. And the knee-jerk reaction, when you hear an objection, the knee-jerk reaction is to get defensive. Yeah, but. And we get really whiny, and our voice goes up, and it's just, we get tight about the whole thing, and you want to do the exact opposite. Accept it and acknowledge it. Nod your head if you're sitting in front of them. Yeah, I hear you. I can see how that would be a concern to you. Stephen Covey has a great quote, many great quotes, but he says, seek first to understand, and then to be understood. And I really want to put that in your head. Kelly, what does that mean to you? Have you ever heard that? You ever read Covey?
I haven't, but I do love this statement, and just, looking at it for the first time, I mean, it kind of frames everything about being a salesperson, which is that it's more important to listen and ask good questions and understand than it is to be verbal and to express ourselves. We need to understand the situation. Where is the customer coming from? What is their position? And then we can adjust our message and our presentation and everything to do with our, the way we communicate based on what we know about these people.
And yet we do the opposite, right? When we hear an objection, we say, well, let me just spew everything that I know so that I can be understood. So the premise of what we want you to accomplish, the process is perfectly stated in that line, and that's a killer. That's a good one. The second step then is to probe. All right, so now we've done the empathy thing, but I want to make certain that I understand this. Now, if the client says your price is too high, that's pretty standard. But my goal here is to make the customer feel heard. Because if I jump right into solving without this very important step, and I miss what the customer is saying, which again sounds difficult, but is actually very easy to do. Customer kind of hums and haws. It's never quite, yeah, this is how I absolutely feel. So we hear one thing and the customer is saying something else. So I want you all to remember, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Do the math. The more you listen, the more that you can probe into this objection. What exactly do you mean by that? Or you said this, is this what I'm understanding you to mean? You mirror it, you reflect it right back at them. And let them go. Let them, ask that open-ended question. Get them talking. Keep them talking. The next step then, Kelly, after probing is what?
Well, we want to isolate it. We want to say, so is there anything else getting in our way? Is there any other reason that we can't be doing business if I can solve this particular problem you have about delivery or about quality or about whatever it is? What else is standing in our way right now? And again, one of the things that's really important as we deal with all of these steps is to ask the question and then be quiet Don't put words in your customer's mouth. Let them, even if there's an uncomfortable silence, folks, this is so important, and we do it all the time, is we ask the question and we say, so why is that important to you? Is it because you have a trade show next week? Is it, and we don't let them talk, and we give up a lot, and we lose a lot in those spaces. So we have to become comfortable with uncomfortable silence in order to get the customers to really tell us what we need to know. So the questions, who, what, where, when, why. Why is that important to you? Who else? Remember those open-ended questions. What else is in our way of doing business? Well, we have this contract. You need to know, so you need to listen to what they're telling you. And again, it's this listening skill that you're acquiring here is really demonstrating that you are a person who's there for them and that is really invested in the outcome and in helping them. So again, we want to make sure that there's nothing else standing in our way when we isolate. Is there anything else getting in our way? Can we work together if we can solve this? And then we only move forward once we're satisfied that there's nothing else getting in our way. It's getting us that much closer to the close.
Because we are getting that commitment from the customer, right? So if it's delivery, and we say, all right, so you need delivery in 3 days. So if I can get you delivery in 3 days, which you say you can get elsewhere, if I can get it for you, then that's your main objection. Everything else being equal, we can do work together. If I get a yes, boy, that's a big green light right there. And that's putting that carrot out for me as a salesperson. So then, Kelly, okay, so I've got it done. I've listened to the customer. I've empathized with the customer. I've isolated things with the customer. And now what?
Well, now we want to, to the extent that it's in our power to solve it, we can move forward and say, I can get you that delivery by Friday. Let's shake hands on this, or whatever the case may be. So we want to say again. So you've said you need it by Friday. I've said I can get it to you on Friday. Do we have a deal? That's really everything leading up to and including the close, and that this is the crucial step, because if we don't do this, if we don't gain the verbal commitment, we've really lost a lot of ground. And this is all about what kind of business people are we? And if this is the kind of person that says to you, yes, I'm committing to you, and then for some reason something doesn't happen or it doesn't go that way, this is the way the person's kind of revealing themselves to you. So
Kelly, what's the number one reason why we don't get an order?
We don't ask for it.
We don't ask for it. That's right. So we've solved this problem, and then people don't make that last step. Okay, we're done, right? Let's go. Give me the PO.
Yeah, there's what time Friday should we know? When should I pick up the files? When should I sign the quote right now? I mean, folks, we've got to put ourselves in a position to close. So have the quote there and have them sign it. Whatever that closing, that emotional connection they need to make to being committed to you, give them the tool. Give them some reason to say, okay, I'm committing to this person right now. And if you can't get that, I wouldn't consider this to be a done deal. I would say you haven't done your job and there's something else. There's a good chance you're not going to get the order if you can't make that happen right now.
And what those objections are, your price is too high, we already have a vendor, we're not doing any buying right now, we buy from corporate, we need things faster than you can deliver. Those are all subjects for future short attention and webinars. There's also some blog material for Kelly and me on that information.
Indeed.
We're happy to share all that info. So Kelly, thanks very much. Our
Great job, Bill.
attention span customer is now moving on to the next one. So thanks, everybody.